all the way back, baby.
Yeah, and if we say book your hotel, you book your hotel. But my lord, I have soiled myself.
And now, another episode of The Way We HNC It. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of The Way We HNC It. Thank you very much for joining us once again. It's been a big weekend in flag football, and for all the breakdown of the National Flag Football League, you're going to have to wait another week because this is a very special episode, and we're joined by some long-time friends of the show and our Great Britain's women's national team superstars, Grace Conway and Ellie Thorpe, are joining Cammy and I this evening. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. How are things going?
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy year so far, and I guess we're catching up a week before maybe the craziest couple of weeks of the year, maybe our lives. So yeah, things have been good.
Yeah, for sure. They've been hectic. I can't believe we're at the end of July already. It feels like we were at trials last month, so it's been definitely a crazy few months. About to get crazier.
Yes, so obviously next week, I guess, the World Games will kick off, and then the week after, the flag football tournament will begin. So yeah, I guess we'll start there, and then we'll come back to World Games at the very end. What is it like knowing that like this time next week you're going to be like on a plane to the other side of the world for flag football?
Yeah, daunting. The prep that we need to do in terms of packing, making sure you've got everything, if you got all your kit, checking in with all the team. It's a lot, but it's super exciting. I mean, it's the biggest stage I think any of us will have ever played on and may ever play on. Yeah, excitement is definitely a big feeling.
And there's that kind of added unknown of going to China, you know, like we've never been somewhere so far to play football, and there's a lot of like unknowns that come with that. We just caught up with the girls this evening around some of the logistics and things we need to bring there, and yeah, so it's a lot of excitement, a lot of kind of like nervous excitement, I'd say.
Nice one. Yeah, I at the Scotland game the day on Sunday there, I bumped into Fraser Thompson, and he was telling me that he was like very excited when his passport came back with a visa in it, because it's like a full page all like that. Must be quite surreal, because normally obviously if you're flying around Europe you just get like a generic stamp at the airport and then you're in, but is it like even that must be quite surreal, I guess?
Yeah, especially because we had to trek up to Manchester, take a day off work to get this 5-minute visa appointment and all of that stuff. We had to time it right with our other trips so that we had our passports at the right time, and yeah, it's a lot.
It's been a lot of logistics.
Oh yeah, of course, because yes, and we'll come on to like, yeah, you've been all over the place the last few months. So if we go right back to where we kind of the last time we spoke to you, it was we think we've worked out it was just before the IFAF Worlds in Finland. Obviously we've kind of spoken a bit since then, but yeah, Grace, that was your big comeback tournament. Obviously, give me like a minute on what that meant to you to be back amongst the team playing flag on the international level again.
God, I don't know if I can give you a minute.
Well, you can have as long as you want. We're here all night.
No, it was amazing. It was everything I wanted it to be, minus the final result outcome. But from a personal perspective, it was amazing to be back on the field, back playing football, and on obviously a huge stage. A lot of those teams we, as a GB team, had never played before. Yeah, it was amazing. That first catch meant a lot.
I think that's one of my favorite photos that like Andy took, was like you like holding the ball, because he sent it back like pretty much straight away, being like, "She did it, she's gone." Yeah, it was cool, and yeah, amazing in the sense that like we could watch every single game from home. Like that's a first, and it looks like it's going to be exactly the same for both Chengdu and Paris, which is very cool. So yeah, you mentioned kind of that maybe the final placing wasn't what you'd maybe hoped for. What was like the feeling in the group kind of after kind of maybe Ellie will come to you here when you got back? Kind of how long did you give yourself to like decompress from like a major tournament like that, and then kind of I guess move on because you know that this year is coming.
Yeah, we always talk about tournament blues after we come back from a trip. And I think this time it was even more intense, like going from that like period when you're with the team and you're really locked in all the time and then being back on your own and having that result not exactly turn out the way we wanted it to, I think was quite tough. Like I personally felt quite numb for a while after that tournament. But I think we managed to come back together, look at film. I think we all know the areas where we didn't execute and we could have. I think it felt like it was within our grasp, which I think is a really positive thing to take away from a tournament. Like we know the things we could have done better and we've been working on them. I don't know, it put us in a good place, I suppose, moving into the next season.
Yeah, so both international season and obviously domestic season kind of feels like you've not really had a football break yet since almost since Worlds. Obviously like a lot of the team, obviously then play in the National League and the WFFL. Do you feel like the level of the WFFL is starting to change now that these like Euro Worlds, that rotation is starting to come in? Obviously the program has grown a lot now that there's a whole Silvers team. Like how are you seeing the international game kind of impact the domestic seasons here?
Yeah.
You put on the spot for that one. We'll go, yeah. On you go, Ellie.
I mean, I think we probably share the same view. Like the league's definitely improving in terms of standard. It's coming on leaps and bounds. It's getting way more competitive, which is so great to see. And, you're constantly seeing people from the GB program, whether that's Silvers, whether that's youth, even some of those girls that have come up into the senior league now. So it's really a nice community. And obviously for us to get more competitive games is even better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot more people are traveling internationally as well, whether that's for Copenhagen Bowl, Big Bowl, Capital Bowl, all the bowls, whatever it's for. Everyone seems to be kind of venturing a little more than kind of the select few that always used to go. So I think that experience then they're then bringing back into the domestic league, which is only a good thing.
So yeah, on the subject of those on everything bowls, which have you guys went to Copenhagen?
No, we did Big Bowl this year.
Big Bowl, Cougars at Big Bowl. Yes. And I ask everyone this because I've never been, but like, how was your Big Bowl experience?
Well, Big Bowl's one of our favourites, isn't it? It's just such a nice environment. The weather was really good. It was actually a really just fun tournament for us. We had Jess Allen playing with us, obviously now on the national team. And yeah, we just had so much fun. It's nice to like come back and actually take the pressure off and just see how things go. And I think it was one of those tournaments for us where we were like, we just want to play football, and actually ended up doing quite well, which was nice.
First time I've actually ever seen, this feels weird because it's probably the quietest I've ever been on the podcast at all. I've been silent for about 9 minutes at this point, but just listening away. The first time I've ever seen Coventry was actually at Big Bowl in 2023, I think it was. You were final against someone, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure Sax in the City was it. Yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen you guys play. So yeah, finally managed to worm my way into the conversation somehow.
Yeah, we've made it to a few Big Bowl finals. Not yet got the big win, but we'll cross our fingers for next year.
It's the one that evades us.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those like every year I'm just like, oh, maybe, and then like don't do anything about it, and I'm like, damn it, I should do something about it. But yeah, it would be good to get across at some point. So yeah, I guess going back to last year, obviously there was a big change in terms of like the organization of the team. Dean had obviously been with in the head coaching role for a while. Jack has stepped up. A couple of other changes. So like I'm guessing that has been an adjustment, different styles of play and stuff. Like, how have you found kind of constantly, being asked to do different things now and learning different things? I guess, Grace, like, I'm not asking for the secrets, obviously, but like, is there, I mean, if I could just get the playbook now, kidding. Like, how has it been, like, kind of going back to kind of installing an offense again and getting to know everyone, and also
Building
like
chemistry with a new QB. There's
like
lots
also,
of
but also doing that while trialing. Do they happen at the same time, or just, I'm so interested in how it works.
I mean, I guess you're all trialing together at the same time. Obviously, the quarterbacks are also trialing, so they're trying to put themselves in the best light. We're trying to put ourselves in the best light, and yeah, you're doing that with someone that maybe you haven't played with before, so perhaps you don't have that instant chemistry or kind of natural chemistry, and sometimes that can take a while to build. I definitely think we're there now, but maybe not so much at trials. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of change, and I think change is good. It's where you grow outside of your comfort zone. And I definitely feel like the team as a whole, both kind of all the individual components, and then as we come together as a team, I think you could definitely say we've grown. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been a very good few months.
Nice. And then I guess, so obviously the news, like the team news, was shared last week. Obviously guessing that you guys did not find out on Friday. Like, when did you guys start like fully training kind of as the unit that we now know, and like really getting that like offense to gel together?
Well, that's a good question, and off the top of my head, I don't know the specific dates. Maybe the May camp, would it have been, Ellie?
Yeah, so it would have been the May camp. I mean, I think the coaches have an idea of a kind of broader squad before that. So you're used to playing with certain people and certain lineups, but yeah, the squad was cemented, I suppose, around May, and that group started playing together a bit more.
obviously with the new defensive coordinator that's came in. How's things on that side of the ball, Ellie? How are you finding the new style of play that's coming in?
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to play defense. Yeah, Marky brings a lot of experience, previously coaching at Panama with Jack, and so he brings a completely different dynamic to the team. So that's been very exciting to pick up new things from the other side of the pond, and his coaching style is completely different to what we're used to as well. So yeah, I think he brings a lot of professionalism too. So, the girls do not put a toe out of line because Marky is there saying it how it is. But yeah, it has been really positive.
Nice. Yeah.
Both with still having Fraser around as well, who has a relationship with some of the girls that were there previously in previous GB squads, be a good help to Marky too as well.
Yeah, and I think in terms of knowing the way that we think, obviously we've been working with Fraser for such a long time now. He understands how each player responds to certain things and their thought processes, and I think he's really helped with that continuity. Certainly for me, I felt a lot more comfortable being like, am I right in thinking this, or is this what I should do?
A bit more of a
here?
personal element.
Yeah, so no, that's been really, really helpful.
The translator Thompson.
Translator Thompson.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Obviously, like, I'm excited to see everything, but the rumblings of this new defense that I've heard make my little head quite excited. So that'll be. And I guess recently you had the opportunity to travel. You guys have been over in the States for, again, what's looked like an incredible opportunity to both play in tournaments and visit what is admittedly one of my favorite cities, kind of stateside that I've been to. So yeah, talk to me about Boston and the Leominster kind of weekend, because I guess one of the questions was it was kind of hard to tell from like my frantic Google searching, but is the Leominster flag football setup, that's like a facility that just exclusively does flag?
Good question. So that's
Is that how it works?
Like Jack is very involved with the local Leominster flag community. So we played against some of his under 17 boys who were full grown men. Definitely did not look like our UK under 17 boys. And they were very talented. I think a few of them have college scholarships lined up and things like that. So
Wow.
that was a good competitive challenge for us, but really helpful in terms of we got so much competitive play while we were out there, and against different teams, different looks, and you just don't get that range when you're playing against yourselves over and over again. So I think in terms of competitive play, that was the biggest opportunity for us. We weren't looking for particular outcomes. It was more to make sure the team's gelling, see some different looks and adapt to new situations.
Yeah, for sure. I think as well, a big positive from that trip was kind of just being on the same sideline with each other. So often the offense goes against the defense, and you end up kind of almost playing each other like against each other. It's like two different teams. Whereas it was nice to be kind of one cohesive unit, kind of pushing against someone else. So yeah, that was a nice element as well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
For a lot of the squad, it would actually be their first time really travelling with GB and going over to a completely different country to play against completely new teams. What was that like for you two? I assume you two were in some sort of mentor role, trying to get people a bit more comfortable with what's coming ahead. How did the younger ones get along?
Yeah, I think it was a really useful trip in terms of setting us up as a team for what it's going to be like to travel, because it can be really overwhelming, if there's a time difference, the heat's different, you're really tired and you're trying to play, like it is a lot. So it was definitely a good test of, okay, how are we going to feel when we're all traveling together, and what do different people need when they're struggling, and that kind of thing. So we definitely bonded in that sense. China, I think, will be another kettle of fish, but certainly one that Boston helped us on the way towards. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, some of them hadn't traveled that far on a plane. Some of them had never been to America. And obviously that's going to be a very, I don't know, I don't think any of us have been to China. And obviously it's going to be even further on a plane. It was a soft launch of what China could be like.
It's a very good idea, I think. Just in terms of everything you've said is good practice.
I think the biggest thing, like personally for me, it would be like playing domestically. I know majority of people that play for majority teams in the national flag prem in the men's side, and who I'm going to be up against and the safeties that I'm going to be playing against. But you go over at King Bowl, Big Bowl, wherever, you're looking across at these people and you've no idea what you're coming up against. So like trying to get into that mentality of you can do as much scout as you want, but actual playing on the pitch is, and those first few drives are going to be testing each other, it's almost like a chess match, kind of just sussing each other out and finding out how and where to win.
Yeah, exactly. Like playing that unknown has been really valuable, I think.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I guess, Grace, in terms of like how the week was structured, I'm guessing you like arrived, got set up at from home, I guess, and then with like it looked from kind of your guys' social media and the stuff that was coming out everywhere else, like it looked like a pretty, you had like a solid like practice schedule, and like as you said, playing with the under 17s and then the two pair of tournaments at the weekend. Like how, it was like I hate the phrase, but it was like a business trip, right? Like it was all very, be here,
camp,
be here, do this, camp abroad, play games. Like what talk to me about like kind of that process of essentially being as close as flag allows us at the moment to essentially like go to work when work is flag for.
Wouldn't that be the dream?
Goals, right?
So we landed on the majority of the team landed on the Thursdays. We had kind of, like you say, get set up situation. We actually did some walkthroughs, Ellie? Walkthroughs on the Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had kind of training Friday morning, played the under 17 boys on Friday evening, and then kind of had a tournament Saturday morning, trained Saturday evening, and then we had the tournament then, which was kind of an all-day thing on the Sunday. So we played, I think it was something like 12 games across the 3 days, plus all of the training that we did as well.
Wow.
It was very full on. Yeah, it was very full on. It was very warm, which was still about 10 degrees cooler than China, but it was very warm. And we saw some great fields and amazing facilities. Not a lot of Boston, but a lot of great football facilities. I was saying to Ellie on the tournament that we did on the Sunday, we rocked up to like just this park, what would be just a regular park in the UK that would maybe have some swings and a field. And this park had like loads of different turf fields. There was like different NFL flag going on a different field. The field we
God.
were on, there was like a running track. There was a park run going on. There was like all like their version of soccer, our football pitches. Like it was just insane. And this was just in like a random local park. So yeah, they're definitely set up for some good facilities out there.
It's just like a totally different world, isn't it? Like where, yeah, town planning involves sport. Like it's just wild. And like, yeah, so cool for you guys. So like, what was the format of like your tournaments? Was it like, because over here, obviously in Europe, it's like everything is basically either IFAF games or 12-minute halves. Like, was there anything like funky going on, or was it kind of similar?
Yeah, I'm pausing because I don't know if Ellie's going to start talking.
No, you go. I mean, it was funky. It was NFL flag rules. So it was
Wow.
3 downs to the half instead.
Or shit.
And a few other random quirks that didn't impact as much, but the 3 downs to the half was challenging at times. It's like just not what we're used to, is it? Yeah. So a different style. I mean, it was 12-minute halves, wasn't it, as well? So those games are just totally different to IFAF rules. Anything can happen. And we definitely saw that in our games. So yeah, I mean, it was exciting and fun to play a different format. I think it would have been nice to play some 20-minute halves, and we did do that against the boys on the Friday, which was helpful. But anything to get some competitive play,
And then I guess, obviously on the Sunday it was the We Run the World, and there's that teams that are. Was that like teams that are from the local area? Like I have no idea about anything flag football stateside, because it's just like it's insane how many teams there are in tournaments and formats and all that kind of stuff. I think one of them was the team that Britt normally plays for. I did text her and say, "Are you playing against your girls?" And she was like, "Never, I couldn't." but
that would have been so funny if she had, honestly.
But yeah, like American bounce teams, I think over here it's second nature to think like, oh, they're from America, so they must be good. But like, is that, I mean, I guess they must be, but like, what's it like playing a team of people that have grown up like living and breathing the sport from since they were
on the Sunday? There were different like divisions, I guess. So there was like high school teams in one format, and then there was our adult women's, and the high school teams were so good. Oh my gosh, like seeing these kids run around with the football, you would just never see that over here, and they're so comfortable. These amazing catches, amazing runs, like that was so fun just to watch. And I think in terms of the teams we played, I think they traveled from surrounding areas. Was one of them from like, I want to say Rhode Island or something, I don't know, so like the general area, but some had traveled a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, and actually one of the teams we played on the Saturday tournament, we had played with one of the girls that we played against before, because Britt had brought her over to play with us at Big Bowl last year. So that was really nice to see like a friendly face.
Nice.
In her team. So yeah, it was really nice vibe there. Like they had a really good setup. Just a really enjoyable flag day, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it sounds cool. And like, again, like from some of the photos that Ellie was sharing and stuff, and then kind of the rest of the team were sharing, and were on your guys' social media. Like it was, it looked like a really kind of joyful, I guess is a good word for it, kind of day out. Obviously when you're being handed championship rings, it's probably quite easy to be joyful. But yeah, and then I guess from there on in, have you guys been back in camp since, or has it all been virtual?
No, not in camp since. So we have like weekly calls with the team, which is where we do a lot of our kind of film review, getting together, discussing things. And we've had a few kind of informal meetups with some of the players where we've had training, which has been really helpful. So we were just down at Loughborough last weekend. Yeah, but now it's all just like getting our stuff together, getting organised for next week. and no one getting injured.
No one getting injured. It's like, yeah, I can imagine that this is very similar to like a taper kind of, don't get hurt. Everything is in cotton wool. So yeah, I guess like since you've gotten back, Grace, obviously like you're still training and you're still, trying to keep yourself in like, kind of competitive shape. Like what has that looked like for you kind of like since you got off the plane to now?
I mean, tapering, I think, is a good word for it. We've had lots of probably more on-field sessions more than kind of your general S&C side of things. Like Ellie said, lots of not getting injured, not overdoing things, sports massages. But yeah, it's kind of all that. You hope that everything you've done in the year following up is kind of leads into it, and you're in a good position that you can kind of start that taper and you're ready to go then at the right time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so have you, I guess, Ellie, have you found that are the days dragging? Like, are the days long and the weeks short? Like, how is it feeling like in the kind of over the countdown? Because I mean, we've been counting down kind of 40 days, 30 days, 20 days, and like we're just, Cammy and I are basically just setting an alarm for 2:00 in the morning and opening our phones up. Like for you guys, like you're obviously going to like what? Yeah, how is the construct of time passing for you at the moment?
I know, I have to keep telling myself like you have a full-time job and you have lots of things to do at work, because all I can think about is football, and that's awful because I have so many deadlines and things before I go. Like I literally have an exam on Thursday for work that I'm like, I need to cram for this, but I can't take my mind off football. So yeah, it's a real struggle. And especially when you come back from a trip like Boston, where everyone's so on the same page, like the vibe is really good. You've got this goal you're all working towards, and you've got to actually say, I've got to park that for a minute because I actually have other things to do. Like that is challenging. And like Grace said, like now you're in a mode where you're like, okay, I can't get injured. We're training and I can't go in for balls that are 50-50. I've got to actually hold back a bit. Like that's not that easy to do either.
Yeah, I bet.
So
what's
talking about like cramming and stuff and like trying to manage your day, what's the mental preparation side like? Trying to like stay focused after coming back from such a big high in Boston and then stay that motivated and that positive for that long must be quite tolling as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it for that long actually. I think you have to kind of have that reflection period, kind of come back to some level of norm and then get ready to kind of ramp it up again, because I think trying to stay at that level the whole time would be really difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of coming back down after the trip, doing everything you need to kind of post trip, and then we're into kind of the mental reps then as well. So like Ellie said, we've had lots of film review sessions, lots of self analysis, lots of watching the games together and by yourself, etc. And then, like I say, doing all that side of things, and then we'll get ready to go again.
One of the things that we've had this year, which we haven't had before in the team, is access to a sports psychologist. So Casper, who, has been around the men's team for the last year, but the first time we've been working with him. And that's been just really useful to get such a different perspective on the role of psychology when it comes to sport and how you deal with some of that mental pressure. So I think that's been helpful in trying to manage emotions when you're kind of in the heat of a game, after a game, and how you deal with some of those, I don't know, situations that you're put in where you're kind of like, I don't know how to come out of this, or don't know how to get through this, don't know how to find a solution. He's been very useful in giving you like practical tools to manage those things.
We had Casper on the show a while ago now, but had a great chat with him, and his knowledge and expertise has been brilliant. But like looking at some of the games you've got at the World Games, I mean, you've got the previous World Games champions in Mexico, you've got Japan, who we've got history with at the last Worlds, and then we've got Italy, who we
also played.
Yeah, we've also played as well. So you've got two massive teams there, and Japan was the exit game of the World Championships and then the current World Games champions. How are you feeling about playing both of them? Put you on the spot with that one.
Yeah, that is it. That is on the spot. How do I feel about playing them? I think you have to go into it kind of almost forgetting what's kind of happened before, respecting it, but kind of almost forgetting it and leaving that at the side. And at the end of the day, their team might have changed a lot. Our team's changed a fair amount since obviously we played them. And I think it will be it's a great opportunity to be able to play someone like Mexico as well. We've followed them for a long time, and the individual players, and we know what they're doing. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to be able to play them.
They came over to Europe and done such different play styles, and then obviously what we've seen with Japanese women and men at the last World Games.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually. I think we have prepared. I think we know what they do. We know how they play. But, I can't wait to play them again and actually come at it and execute. I think our team are in a really good place to succeed. So I'm excited.
So I guess in terms of, I have like too many questions in my brain, so I'm going to start again. So first, like obviously, like you mentioned, like you're in your mental reps phase and your kind of virtual training sessions phase at the moment. How useful is it for you guys having every game from the World Championships available essentially on IFAF TV? Because that's never been a thing before. So I guess like, yeah, Grace, if you're looking at defenses, like like you say, teams will have changed, personnel will have changed, coaches change, schemes might change, but even so, like how has that been different in like the way that you prepare for a tournament, just having hours and hours of film to look at?
Yeah, I mean, it's invaluable, really. I think previous at the Euros, we had our coach, Mathers, was holding a stick with a pole and recording the cameras in all weather, recording the film in all weathers. So
Unsung hero.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, and obviously you get a good angle, you can watch the whole game. There's replays of some of the footage, and then behind the scenes as well, we've had different coaches that have kind of gone through and cut the film up, and it's now on our Huddle, so you don't even have to watch all the breaks. It's all done perfectly for us, which has been very good and very useful. And yeah, I mean, players can change, schemes can change, but it's unlikely that all 12 will change. So you're going to see some familiar faces, and perhaps the coaches stay the same, so the scheme stays the same, and you just prep for what you can. If things change while you're out there, that's the beauty of sport. So you got to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, I bet. And then I guess just as we were talking there, your group, Italy, Mexico, Japan, and then on the other side, obviously the States, China, Austria, and Canada. Like, do you guys ever? I guess Ellie will come to you here. Do you ever stop and think about the fact that like basically this time last year, women's team had never played a team like from outside Europe before, and now we're talking about like you've played Japan before, you've played Canada, you're going to get a shot at Mexico. Like, do you stop and think about like how far it's come since like you guys joined, or are you too focused? Like, I'll look back when I retire, and now
No,
it's just
I
what's in
mean,
front of me.
I can't remember who I was talking to the other day about. Like my first Euros was 2017 in Copenhagen, and the facilities, the structure of the tournament, the organization was just, in comparison, like it was so far behind. And to see how far we've come and having the chance to play all these teams, you see so much of them on social media, these amazing catches, amazing plays, but seeing them and playing them in real life, you kind of realize, oh, actually they're just another team. And like, I think our games last year showed how close we came to beating Canada, beating Japan. Like, we know that we are at that level too. And I guess this summer's just like another opportunity for us to showcase that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm so excited like for you guys just like to have like the opportunity, and then obviously just to witness it. So yeah, obviously the final game of your Worlds last year was Italy, and then up until kind of the turn of the year, we thought it was good. You were going to open against Spain. Now it's Italy again. Was that change made far enough in advance that it's not really impacted you, or had you already done a bit of like kind of Spain work?
It's not really impacted us too much, has it? I don't think we probably started scouting when that change was made. I don't think it changes anything for us in terms of our goals or our objectives. We're still quite focused on kind of the same outcomes. So I think we know Italy. We've played them recently. I believe they've had coaching staff changes, but I think they're more of a familiar beast because we have played them so much.
Nice one. So yeah, and I guess the only true wild card in the tournament really is China, because they'll be making their kind of international debuts as the hosts, and then they're going to host. Now we found out a little while ago they're going to host the kind of Asia, Oceania games as well. Do you guys, has there been, like, do you have anything on them? Or is it just like going to be rock up and the ones in red are the Chinese team? Like, is there anything that you guys know about the team?
From a player level within GB, no, we don't know anything. Can't say the same for the coaches. They may know different coaching staff, and maybe that teaches them something of what their schemes could be like and things. But yeah, from our perspective, it's going to be rock up and see how they play.
I mean, we'll do a lot of prep while we're out there in terms of scouting and film each day. So I think we'll have a good game plan going into whoever we're facing, even if that's a starting point. You know, we were talking about earlier how much the film helps prepare for teams. I think even psychologically, if you've got like a starting point and you know you're going in with a plan, yeah, that will probably change as the game goes on, but at least you feel like you're prepared and you're then in a good position to give it everything.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily we're in a position where obviously we will get that because they'll have played teams in their group before we potentially could meet them.
Yeah, have any chance of coming across them. So I guess in terms of, we've kind of like spoken around it, in terms of, the next 20 days, shall we call it, of your lives. The games obviously start next week. Football is the week after. So when do you guys travel to Chengdu?
So we leave the UK next Tuesday. We have some long flights, two separate flights, and then we land Wednesday, so the 6th. We will be in China from
Wednesday. And then, so I guess opening ceremony, there's a thing, must be a thing. It's a massive event, so there must be an opening ceremony. Are you, like, how does it, are you in, is it like a village? Like, are you in the village? Is Team GB a thing? Like, how, I don't know how this works.
It's a good question. We don't know a ton about the schedule right now. I think we're all together, staying together. I don't quite know what that will look like. I mean, the facilities where we're playing look very cool, but that's about as much as we know at the moment.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's not just flying to the other side of the world. It's also like just finding out what it's like when you get there.
Which is kind of the same for other tournaments. Like, I think Finland, we'd seen what the accommodation and things might look like, but you don't really know until you're there and you're set up and you're like, okay, you've got the other teams right here and this is our little spot, and then you kind of get familiar with it.
Yeah, and I guess, so you're going to be, so the time difference is 6 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours.
Is it 8?
I can't remember.
Is it not 8?
Oh God, it might be, yeah. Oh, sorry, we're 5 to Boston. Yes, it's 8 to.
I'm going to say it was like
8 to Chengdu. It's 8 to Chengdu, and it's in the other direction. So I guess, you arrive Wednesday. Hopefully, by the following Thursday, you're so you must, World Games, opening ceremony, practice. Yeah, I guess, like you said, I think just before we came on, maybe practice schedule kind of as a team right up until go time.
I think so, yeah. I mean, we're not 100% sure what that will look like, but I think we're almost going to get like a mini camp in, make sure we've got those details ironed out. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I guess so different, given that it's a multi-sport event across the city. Are you guys, like, how aware are you of like other stuff, other events that's going on? Like, have you kind of looked at the program and thought, oh, like if I had Saturday morning off, it might be cool to go see like this sport? Like, has that crossed your mind at all? Because you're there for long enough, but you're also like, you're there for like your thing. So yeah, I guess, Grace, like, if you have thought about that, what is like one event that if you had the time off you would like to see?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a brief look at the schedule and when the different sports are playing, because obviously some of them are well finished before we get going, and vice versa. In terms of particular sports, I mean, there's quite a few interesting ones out there. One of the girls in our team plays ultimate frisbee, and they have like an ultimate disc out there. So I'm sure if she can catch some of that, she's going to try.
Yeah, nice.
Obviously, lacrosse are going to be there, but I think anywhere, which we don't know yet, but anywhere where there is another Team GB, it would be nice to go and support them if we get the opportunity. But I think it's more a case of what's on when we're free rather than trying to go and see something.
Yeah,
because
of course.
at the end of the day, obviously we're there for a job too.
You're there to do your thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so
it's like get our schedule and then try and fit in as much as possible around that. I want to see as many sports as we can, but I guess we just don't really know what that's going to look like yet. But I think it'll be really exciting to try and spend time with other teams and see how they operate, what their journey's been like, and all of that stuff.
For sure. I was saying to Ellie on Sunday when we had some training was how excited I am to be at a multi-sport tournament, because obviously I've been lucky enough that I've been to some big flag tournaments, perhaps not as far, but where there are lots of different countries, but everyone there plays flag. So it is going to be super interesting to see all these athletes walking around wondering, I wonder what sport they play. And yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
It is pretty much as close to like an Olympic atmosphere as we could get until Ellie. So like thought of it, it seems so far away, but it's actually really not. Like it's right on our doorstep now. So to be some of the first athletes from GB flag to actually go and witness that is going to be really quite
cool.
exciting. Yeah.
For sure, it's a big privilege.
And there's like every now and then I look back through the list of sports and it's chaos, because it's like some are quite well established. Like you look at, like, for example, like squash is probably, something that any kind of non-Olympic sport, in the sense that they haven't been at the Olympics yet, could learn from, because it's played, I think it's the most popular sport in the world that isn't an Olympic sport or something like that. But then, yeah, like you look around and there's also like just totally mad, like.
Do you remember the tangent you went off on the last one in Alabama, casting?
Yeah, so casting is my favorite sport that no one's ever heard of, and it's essentially they put like targets in a field, and then they cast fishing rods trying to land it on like progressively smaller targets that get further and further away. And I was like, "What is?" I just found this thing out, and I watched
Just in case you guys thought you were in a niche sport.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. The World Games has got you covered. Like, I
watched one YouTube video on it and was immediately, pardon the pun, hooked. But yeah, that's not been in a World Game sport since 2005, unfortunately. So you won't get a chance at casting. But there's obviously a lot going on, and yeah, the flag tournament lasts the better part of a week, all the way through Thursday to Sunday. I think similar to being in Lahti last year, there's one day where you've only got one match. Is it the first day you've only got one match? What was that like in Finland? Because most teams are playing at least two, right? And then you guys are one of the kind of the outliers with just a single game on that day. Is that strange? Because like obviously even at domestic WFFL level, you would never play a single game in a day.
Quite the opposite.
They play four. So
yeah, I mean, I think in Finland it ended up not being the best of help, because I think then we had the extra game then on the days that were then closer to what would have been kind of quarters and all that. But in the World Games, I think, I mean, it's something different. It's something we need to make sure, and we've had lots of conversations to ensure that we've done the correct preparation and we're ready to go kind of straight from the start of that game. But I mean, it would be nice to only have to play one game rather than kind of what we're used to, which is 3 or 4 in a single day, which is very different to a lot of other sports.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, yeah, it's like you would never ask at the top level, like just if you just look at the weekend there. Obviously, like I know you were both probably glued to your tellies on Sunday night watching the Lionesses. Like the concept of asking them to play a semi-final in the morning and then play the final in the afternoon is mental. But that's flat the way that the flag works. But yeah, sorry, Ellie, I cut you off there.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's nice for us, I guess, on the first day just to have that one game to focus on. But equally, it's like you've got to execute in that game, right? Because that's your only game of the day. I think it comes with some other mental pressure that players can put on themselves. So like finding the balance between like that focus and that being able to execute in that game versus all the freshness and energy that you bring on that first day. Like I think it's an interesting one. And like you said, like we're so used to playing back-to-back games that I think sometimes it's we almost have a quieter first game, and the second game we really come into our own. So you've got to find that second game energy for the only game of the day. So that can sometimes be challenging.
It is quite a big ask, and it's probably something that Casper's spoke to you about as well, but it could potentially set the tone for the weekend. And like you said, a lot of teams go to these things and do start slow. It's not just a GB thing. So being able to actually come out and hit the ground running and get the energy up for one game is quite a difficult thing to do, especially the first game of the weekend.
Yeah, but that's why I'm so glad we are out there well in advance. Like, we're going to have a training camp together.
Yeah.
I think we'll be like in a really good position to hit the ground running.
So I guess, Grace, from like a competitive standpoint, like these are the best teams in the world. The field is literally made up of like the top 7 teams from the last time there was a World Championships. Like, how does that feel for you? Because like that's like, as a kind of elite competitor, that's what you want, right? You'd love to just like have a bash at the best teams on a loop, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's where you learn, that's where you get better. I'm a strong believer in you have to surround yourself with and against good players and strong competitors to be able to improve your own game. And I think we saw that, like, from a personal perspective, like way back when we first started going to Big Bowl and the first kind of American team started to come in, and you'd learn and watch what they did and you'd implement that. And obviously it's come a long way since, but all you want to do is play the best teams, watch the best teams play against each other and have the opportunity to do that yourself. So very, very good opportunity.
And then I guess in terms of the best teams, the phrase that I never get bored of saying, as defending European champions, once the World Games is dealt with and you're back in the UK, it's like what, 8? Is it even 8 weeks until Euroflag in Paris? Has that even come across your desk yet, or is in the build up to this? Because it's weird, right? Like you've never been in this situation before where we've had 2 major tournaments in 2 months, essentially. So how is that like impacting your prep? Have you looked ahead, or has it just been all in on the World Games, I guess?
Yeah, I'd say it's been very focused on the World Games as like the first job to be done. We are training in September, before Euros. So we'll have a camp to prepare for that. And we have been told that there could be changes to the squad as well. So we're also still fighting for our spots. Performance in China needs to be good. And then we'll go from there. So it's kind of that added pressure that I think will be an interesting dynamic. Like, your spot isn't safe. You've got to keep fighting for it.
Yeah, I did wonder, like, because the release, obviously the release was very much, this is the squad for the World Games, and obviously, like, unfortunately, it's sport and injuries are part of that. And then so it's World Games, 1 camp, Euroflag. That's wild. Like, that's a
lot of high quality football.
There's so much high quality football coming down the pipeline. Wow. So yeah, but I'm guessing, like, as far as like scouting and looking at your upcoming opponents for Euroflag, looking at who's in your group, I know most of them obviously is Euroflag, so seeing them around a lot more, know them a lot more, but we'll deal with that once we're back.
Yeah, I mean, on the whole, it is very much a future us problem.
Love that.
Maybe problem's not the right word, but a future as consideration.
Yeah.
We know who's in our group. Some of them are actually unknowns as well. We've not seen them before, but yeah, that's for after the World Games. Our focus right now is fully on that.
Yeah, I bet. Again, that looks like it's going to be another amazing event in Paris as stuff really starts to kick on. So I'm guessing, like, over the last couple of years, Limerick to Lahti to Chengdu to Paris, what changes, like, from an athlete perspective, are you noticing around, like, kind of how the tournaments are organized and how they look and feel? Or is it kind of a bit too early to see that? Because it seems like from the outside they're getting more and more professional. I don't know if that's the right word, but like the organization looks like it's no longer like a dude with a spreadsheet trying their very, very best, with a team around them. It seems now like it's proper event planning, it's proper accommodation and villages, and like like I know it's free, obviously, but like we've got tickets to Paris now to a flag event. Tickets. It seems like everything's growing. I'm just wondering from like an athlete's perspective, like what that's like to be kind of inside.
Yeah, I think you're definitely noticing that incremental improvement from one tournament to the next. There always seems to be something that's done a bit better, organized a bit better. There's lots of like media that happens now that we never would have seen back in the day. Like we've been told in China there'll be lots more player interviews, coach interviews, things like that. And we're obviously representing Great Britain. Like that's a huge honor, but also a huge responsibility, right? So it's no longer kind of doing what you want at these tournaments. It's very much like you are representing the federation. So feels a lot more professional.
Yeah, I never considered that like to someone sitting at home watching that doesn't know flag, like when you have you've got the flag on, you're indistinguishable from any other Team GB elite athlete. So you've got to kind of behave yourselves, I guess.
Yeah, and even as a federation, like we're kind of flying out together to China previously. We've kind of just
gone to your local
made
airport.
our own way there, yeah. But we're flying out together. We're going as one team, and I think we've got expectations for each other of how we're gonna behave as a team during that tournament. So I think the whole thing is definitely stepped up, and we've seen that in our training camps as well. In terms of the facilities that we've now got access to, the way that our camps are run, there's a lot more support there.
No, that's great, and maybe try and phone the flight crew, Cammy, and make sure you get a shout out, and then everyone on the plane can applaud you on your way. Well, I guess I think I've run out of notes. I don't know if Cammy's got any questions burning in his wee head.
No,
But
grand.
no,
Sitting here and all listening to two GB Lions, I'm quite happy.
brilliant. Well, in that case, Grace, Ellie, like thank you so much for coming on. I know that you've had a long night on video calls and stuff, but it's hugely appreciated, and it's always a pleasure to chat. And from Cammy and myself, like all the luck in the world, and we'll be up at 2. We'll be watching, and we'll try and rally the support as best we can. But thank you so much, and good luck.
Thanks so much, guys.
Best
We
of luck,
appreciate
girls.
it.
Flag football and then GB in general, so it's appreciated.
And it's our absolute pleasure, says my wee little grinning face. But that is our interview with Grace Conway and Ellie Thorpe of the GB Women's National Team. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week for another episode, and that is the way we HN see it.